Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to a Dad Rail stream. Eastbourne to Milton Keynes Railtour service part 1. This stream will be starting at 20:30 by the station clock on your screens, so you've got about 8 minutes. 8 minutes to the start of this, as LaserJet899 Overshoot says, Shedtastic tour.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Mind the gap.
Hello, good evening and welcome. This is your 5-minute warning. Any passengers intending to join this live stream, please board now. We are going to be starting at 20:30 by your station clock on the screen. You've got about 4.5 minutes.
Passengers are reminded that smoking is prohibited at all stations and on all train services. This includes e-cigarettes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Eastbourne to Milton Keynes Railtour will be departing in 2 minutes. Please have your drinks, light refreshments and first class tickets at the ready. Tea and biscuits with the manager is mandatory during this stream. We'll be departing in 2 minutes. And welcome to another Dad Rail stream with me, Richard. There were some weird audio issues going on in my headphones there. Hopefully it didn't come through on the stream. How are we doing this evening? Leo Low, Laserjet, Jackson's Train and Bus Adventure, Trainboy, Point A Rail, Lawrence Adams, and everybody else. Great to have you here. Okay, so we are going to be doing something a little bit different today. We're going to be making use of the free roam mode in Train Sim World, and we are going to be having a little play with a Railtour service. So the plan for this is we're going to be doing it over 2 parts. We're going to start off at Eastbourne on the East Coastway route. We're going to drive Eastbourne to Brighton in a Topton-tailed Class 66 set. We're then going to drive Brighton up to Clapham Junction in the same 66 set. That's going to be part 1. That's what we're going to be doing today. And then part 2, which we're going to do in a stream next week, is going to be jumping in the 87 from Acton Lane Reception Sidings up to Milton Keynes. Unfortunately, we don't have the bit in the middle from Clapham up to Acton Lane. That would be really cool if we did, but unfortunately at this time that's not in game. Hello, Tommy. It's one of my sons. We do have the North London line coming, but unfortunately it's not going to cover that bit, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, that is enough chatter from me. Before we jump in, and as always, I've got to tell you that all the views and opinions expressed within this video are solely my own and may not reflect those of any companies I may be employed by or associated with, and all of that good stuff. So, without further ado, let's press the button and jump into Train Sim World 5. Tommy, just to let you know, we can see you on the camera. Give the fans a wave.
Hello.
Hey. Rightio. He would normally be upstairs, but his mum's decided to go to bed early because you probably saw in the last stream, she was conked out on the sofa. Right. I'm going to click resume last played because I have sort of got this set up. So, well, hey, we are in Class 66 Railtour set at Eastbourne. Now, I don't have all of my DLCs installed, so I didn't have a great selection of coaching stock. So I am using Mark 1s and Mark 2s. Incidentally, Mark 3s are not permitted on the southern region, so that's why I've chosen not to use them. DB66 there on the back, and we are topped and tailed. So we've got the Intercity Mark 1 brake van, and then Mark 2s. Now, these have got no central door locking on them or anything like that, so yes, I am aware that this is a little bit of a would not happen in real life scenario, but hey, you know, we're here for the fun. We like it. Train Boy, we will not be doing the Discord today because I don't currently have Discord installed on my computer because my hard disk drive decided to give up, and I'm waiting for a new one to arrive, so I've got very limited stuff installed at the moment, which is one of the reasons I don't have all my DLCs. That and another reason that I won't go into. Right, here we are. Let's get this thing set up and get this rail tour underway. Leola, I think Mark 1s are limited to 90 miles an hour. However, the 66 is limited to 75, so not going to really be a massive problem. Rightio, okay, let's see if I can remember what I'm doing with this thing. I do drive these in real life, so hopefully I've got some idea how they work. Although they are significantly or slightly different in game. Right, brake cut in. That's a good start. Direct brake apply. We're going to go up to the number 1 end cab and just get the safety systems turned on, because I do like to drive with the safety systems turned on, as you all know. Hopefully you've got some game audio now. Just realised the game audio was not turned on, so hopefully you can now hear the ying ying ying. Laserjet overshoots. Mark 1s are limited to 100. Thank you very much, Laserjet. There we go. Right. AWS. Computer control in. AWS TPWS. There we go. That is on. And the DSD. Normal. Fantastic. Right. Okay, that probably wasn't supposed to happen. That's a pretty good start. We've managed to break it straight away. Come back tomorrow, was it properly? What? There we go. We're in. Right, let's close the doors. Oakley dokley. Right, key on. AWS, perfect. Let's get that brake pipe charged up to... because we've got passenger coach in stock on, we're only going to charge it up to initial, because what we don't want to do is release all the brakes on the passenger wagons, then suddenly they start, passenger coaches, and suddenly they start moving as people are getting on and off. That would be pretty bad news. Right, let's get some lights on the go as well. Put that around to daytime running. And if I was driving this in real life, I'd be pumping my... Oh, crikey, the lighting in that is terrible. I'd be pumping my PIN number into the data cord there, or the Qtron device. So if I happen to get downloaded by a manager, they'll be able to tell who was driving the train. Oh my goodness gracious me. Right. Yeah, no, so this is now a... Okay, yeah, right. We're going to have to run on yard lights just to kind of... Train Sim World lighting issues. Old routes, not compatible with new lighting standards. You know how it works. You know how it works. And, of course, we've got no GSMR radio on the 66 as well, which is something I've spoken about numerous times before, so I won't rab it on, I promise. Right, okay. Let's get our pathway set up. So, we are going to be running this service through to Brighton. This is going to have one stop on the service, which is going to be at Lewes. So we're running to Brighton platform 6. I think let's do platform 6. Confirm the pathway for that. Hopefully we'll get the signal pretty soon. Let's just check what pathway it's given us. Make sure it's not done some really sort of weird and wonderful thing where it's sending us wrong route. It does have a little bit of a habit of doing that. Looks good so far. Where is it sending us when we get to Lewes? Yeah, the free roam, I think it works nicely, but I think there are maybe some issues with it still. Can we add a go via point there? Is it going to let me do that? No, it won't. That's not a problem. Right, okay. Jumping in. Laserjet, Mark 3s are not allowed to run on the southern region due to the... I believe it's something to do with the length of the coaches and the fact that the bogies can make contact with the conductor rail, which is obviously something you don't want happening. it short circuits and bad things start to happen. Yeah, point A, those lights are not good. Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventures, because East Coastway needs to be remastered so the lights are like normal. Indeed, indeed. Rightio. Okay, why are we not getting the road? I've pressed all the right buttons. Have we got a train that's been signalled in already? Yes, so the road's off for a train to come in. Whereabouts is it? Oh, there we go. So presumably that's going into platform 1, which is what we're waiting for. So when that comes in, we should be able to depart. 156 Andrew, hello, how are we doing? We are also going to be playing Locomotive Livery Location in today's stream. If you've not seen this game before, you'll soon get the hang of it. I tell you what, let's play our first round now as we're waiting for departure.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
So if you've not seen this before, post your numbers in the chat between 1 and 36 and we're going to play Locomotive Livery Location. And here comes the 377. Hopefully it's not going to get routed onto the platform on top of us. Trains at the station. Hello, how are we doing? Yeah, 156 Andrew. Not too bad, thanks. Been quite a good day today. I went up to Hornby in Margate to the Wonder Works. Second time I've been there. It was pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, here we go. Locomotive Livery Location. Just to prove to you that there is... Okay, that's not working. Just to prove to you that there's nothing going on that shouldn't be going on. Hopefully this is now going to work. No, okay, that's something I need to fix. I can't show you the Locomotive Livery Location numbers on the screen, for whatever reason. Third number on my screen today is Trains at the Station with number 15.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to give you box number 15. You've got 10 seconds to give me the locomotive livery and location of what you think you see underneath. Ooh, what is it? Where is it? Give me your thoughts in the chat as always. Thank you very much to Northern Princess Productions for sending this one in. I think it's going to be an interesting one. But I do say that every time, to be fair. Right, okay. We've got the signal. Into forward. Lock the doors. We've got, unfortunately, no guard's whistle or no buzzer, or in reality we would probably have radio communication. So the conductor on the train would radio through to give us the right of way. And now the doors are shut, we can charge the brake pipe up to 5 bar. Release the direct brake, straight air brake. And give it a couple of notches of power and hope for the best. We are moving! We are on the move. If you do need the game volume up or down, guys, let me know. We can absolutely tweak that as we go along. We are 25 miles an hour coming out of Eastbourne and going up to 70 when we get around the corner. First station stop on this Railtour will be Lewis, followed by Brighton. What are we saying? Trains at the station's gone GBRF 66, 156. Andrew's gone 66. GJ, hello, how are we doing? Lawrence Adams, hi, Dabran. I'm going to be working on the railway start next week, training at Ashford Internet. Awesome, Lawrence. I hope to see you out and about on the network. Leo Losis, maybe West Midlands Railway. Concord 29289, Network Rail HST at Southampton Airport Parkway. Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventures, Aura Class 56 in Colas Rail Livery. Pointer Row got an ad at the wrong tar. I've changed my settings to let YouTube kind of manually insert ads as and where it sees fit, so I'm sort of trialing it to see how it works. And there we are up to 70. Now I haven't put a length into our train length indicator, which is something I probably should have done. Hey, Rafe the Train Spotter has become a member. Thank you very much, my friend. Has been a member for 27 months. Awesome. Let's get a flyby shot. As you can see, this is a very empty Railtour. And I have no idea why the headlights on the back have decided to turn themselves on, because they were set correctly, I promise. Dad, I have a question for you. Are we giving electric for the lights in the Mark 2s and 1s? Well, we're just going to have to pretend that there's a generator coach in the formation somewhere. I see what you're saying, yeah, because the 66 can't provide electric train heat. Hey, we're playing under Rule 1 today. We're playing under Rule 1. Rightio, okay, got a bit of speed up. Let's have a running brake test. So, just notch those power back to idle. And then once the power goes back to idle, well, what we want to do is just let the train roll for a couple of minutes, making sure we're not getting any retardation where we're not expecting it. And then we'll drop the brakes into initial, get a feel for what they're doing. And we want to see a reduction of about 10 miles an hour. And that'll constitute a good running brake test. There you go, let's get that released. And we are good to rock and roll. Ludwig Tales, Rule 1 is basically my game, my way. You use it in model railway terms. Rule 1, it's my railway, my way. So it just means we're doing it the way we want to do it. Can we have a flyby shot through a station? Yeah, we can certainly do that. We won't do it here at Hampden Park. We'll do it a little bit further up. So the building on our left is Sainsbury's. It's a shame we don't have real well branding on here, but that would be pretty cool. Trains at the station. Have you ever driven Class 37? I've had cab rides in 37s a couple of times, but I've never driven one. Right, just approaching Willingdon Junction. This bridge coming up is where my train spotting days begun. Not much happening on this line, generally speaking. It was a sort of 205, 207 thumpers, and sort of 4.6 most of the time back in the day. Train boy, hi Deborah, I'm working on your Railtour. Do you want me to make you a cup of tea and a bacon sandwich? I'm on a diet. A cup of tea sounds nice, as long as it's not with a manager. Jim Ziog, does banking work in game? I believe on the Peak Forest route there are some scenarios where you have to use whistle codes in order to get a banking engine to help you up on some of the scenarios. So I think it possibly does. It's not something I've played with, but I think on the Peak Forest route you can get it working. It's Sam Plays. Hello, how are we doing? Rightio, we've got a 35 coming up, so we're going to shut the power back. We've got the AWS warning for it there. Running the power back nice and slowly. And of course we've got the new suspension physics on the Class 66. It's the first time I've played it with the new suspension physics. Feeling quite nice. I've probably left this braking really late here. We probably should have had the brake in a lot earlier. Especially on a passenger Railtour service where, you know, the guests are potentially being served food and drinks at their tables. We probably want to make the ride a little bit smoother than this. But it looks like we're coming down okay for the 35 there. There we go, fully releasing the brakes. 35 as we come down through Polegate. As soon as we get around the corner, the line speed is going to increase again. We'll go back to 90, I believe, when we come around the corner. Cross train spotting. How many Railtours excursions have you driven in real life? That's a nice round figure. None. So I used to be a passenger train driver, so I've driven passenger trains. I've got experience in that. But in terms of Railtours and excursions, I've not done any. So a lot of that work, there's sort of an element of seniority to doing that sort of thing. And we're just coming up to Polegate. Someone asked for a flyby shot through a station earlier on, so... Hey, Mystic Gaming has become a member. Thank you very much, Mystic Gaming. We'll have a nice flyby shot through Polegate Station. With the dodgy headlight physics. Standing the wrong side of the yellow line there. Got one random first class coach in there, brilliant. And weird lighting on the back. Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventure, so we are going to be calling at Lewis. We're going to be calling at Hayward Heath, Three Bridges, and then fast to Clapham Junction. This will be running via Brighton because unfortunately we don't have the Kemah lines via Cooksbridge and Plumpton in game. That would be really nice if we did, but unfortunately that's something we don't have. So we'll try and get this thing up to 75, then we'll be 75 all the way to just before Lewis. 75 being the maximum speed of the Class 66. Right, okay, I reckon it's time for another round of Locomotive Livery Location.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
Get those numbers in the chat between 1 and 36. We are now just approaching Selmerston AHB, automatic half barrier level crossing. Let's get our instrument lights turned on as well though. Not that we particularly need them, but it's always good. Laserjet overshoots. What are your thoughts on steam trains on the main line? Should they be on the main? Yeah, absolutely they should, yeah. I think Railtours are a great thing. The railway it's open access. You know, if you've got a safety case and a locomotive and you can afford it, then you can run trains. That's the way it works. Rightio, what have we got on the numbers game? I'm just going to check this again to see if it's going to... No, it's capturing the wrong part of the screen, which is really odd. Okay, third one on my screen is Jazil Tanner. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong there, bud. I'm sure I say that every time. But you've gone with number 16.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
So we're going to give you box number 16. 10 seconds for the Locomotive Livery Location, if you can. What is that? Where is that? Does that help you at all? As we come over Selmerston level crossing. Sorry, not Selmerston, that's Wilmington, that one. I've misled you, that's Wilmington AHB. Selmerston's further up. And we're quite steep downhill there coming towards Berwick. We sort of drop down. There's a foot crossing just as we drop down the bottom of the hill here, then we climb up towards Berwick. Trains at the station, why are they called instrument lights? Because these are our, I mean, I suppose gauge lights, instrument lights, it's sort of interchangeable, but yeah. Trains at the station, GBRF 66, 156 Andrew, class 37. Roblox Olympics, if you want to send an LLL picture, just send it to me via my social media channels on the screen for you now. GJ's gone class 33 on a heritage line. And we'll get some power in as we come up towards Berwick. So I am looking at trying to get some sort of a stream schedule going forward because my hours at work are a little bit more settled now. So we're possibly looking at 2 streams a week. I'm looking at doing a regular Saturday night stream. I think that tends to work quite well. And maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday. But as soon as I've got something sort of set in stone, I want to be able to sort of commit to something. So that the streams are not so sporadic, so they're a bit more coordinated. So as soon as I can commit to something, I will we'll post a schedule out. Trains at the station. We'll do a few more flyby shots as we go along. Right, Berwick, we've just gone through. We are now coming up to Selmerston AHB. This one is definitely Selmerston we're coming up to. Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventures 2025. I have been behind a GBRF Class 66 at the Mid-Norfolk Railway Diesel Gala in 2016 with a Class 47 behind it. Lovely stuff. I do like a 47 there. They're probably my favourite loco, 47. I don't know why. There's just I think it's because the first model railway engine I ever had was a 47. I just got a bit of a soft spot for them. Right, our speed has crept up ever so slightly there, so let's just get a little bit of brake in. Hey, Mystic Gaming, thank you very much. Hi, Richard, loving the stream. In the platform staff at Oxted that waves at you when you come through. I'm the platform staff at Oxted that waves at you when you come through on the RHTT. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I haven't been down through Oxted for a little while, but I'm sure we must have waved at some point. And yeah, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Spaceful, hello, how you doing? Amy's having a yes on Locomotive Livery Location there. 97-3 network route, or aka the network route 37s, which are based out of the depot, I can't remember the name of it, near Shrewsbury, as we come across Ripe AHP Crossing. And we are chundling along quite nicely at 75 there. Is the game volume okay, guys? Let me know if you need it up or down or anything doing with it. We can tweak that as we go along. We'll get a nice flyby shot as we come through Glynde in a minute. Pig and Bob, didn't realise you were live today. Yeah, I've been out at Hornby all day, so I fancy doing something with trains. Been at the Wonderworks down in Margate, so. Typical Nathan, Richie, when will the 158 come to Fife? No idea. I'm a little bit out of the loop with what's going on at the moment. Have we not already got the 158? I'm sure we've already got the 158 on the Fife Circle. Lawrence, yeah, I mean, if you feel comfortable with that, Lawrence, that's not a problem at all. Pete, right, yeah, it's good to be back. This is my second stream. We done one last week. Yeah, it's great to be here. Stu, evening, Richard. It's my birthday. Hey, let's have a round of applause for Stu. Happy birthday, Stu. I did have a happy birthday sound effect, but I don't think it works. Let's try it. No, it doesn't work. I've got to reprogram that one. Excellent stuff. We'll ignore the lighting issue on the pack. Rightio, we are just coming around towards a place called Beddingham. Just off to our right out of view is something called Mount Caburn. You often get people jumping off that with paragliders or hang gliders or whatever they're called. Fancy giving that a go myself one day. I reckon that would be fun. Just coming around to Southern Junction, which is where the Seaford line joins us. Nice little branch line down to Seaford. And we'll be at Lewis in just a couple of minutes. So speed limit's going to come down 60, then 60, 40 and then 10 for us going into Lewis. And like I say, we're taking this over to Brighton and then up the Brighton Mainline to Clapham Junction. Next stream is going to be in the Class 87. We're going to be finishing this Railtour off from Acton Lane Reception Sidings, heading up to Milton Keynes. Yeah, Andrew, no, the 66s are limited to 75 miles an hour, or the low geared 66s, the 66.6s are limited to 65 miles an hour. So I've been trying to keep the speed down. In actual fact, if you exceed 75, if you go, I think it's 77 or 78, the locomotive will apply the emergency brakes, and then it'll be tea and biscuits with the manager. Who was saying earlier that they saw a 93 earlier on? I did see the comment. Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventures. Imagine if the Class 93 was added into every route. 93 would be a welcome addition. I think any more modern locos, modern UK locos, would definitely be a welcome addition. Radio 60 down to 40. I said we were going to do 60 down to 40, but I failed to act. Now I'm having to brake far too hard, because I was looking for the chat comment about the 93. And we get a big fistful of brake in there. The passengers will not be thanking me for this driving. And we come round the corner. line 3 drops to 20 and then 10 miles an hour across the point into the station, which will be our first station stop on this Railtour service. Trains at the station, I would love a 50. I am a fan of a 50. I went on a Railtour about 2 years ago, Stratford down to Penzance with 2 Class 50s pulling. It was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, Roblox Olympics, I've never seen a 93. What did you think of it, seeing it in the flesh? And the 10 actually starts as we go across the point work. It's not where the board is there. It's just that it's not this set of points coming up, the next set. And there we go. That'll do us quite nicely. Taro, you made me spill everyone's afternoon tea. And we did have a single yellow just stepped up to a green, so it could be that we're following a Seaford service now, which will make it a little bit more interesting as we head along the line up towards Falmer. We have got 8 coaches on this train, I believe. 10 coaches. So we got all the way up to the end of the platform. Trains at the station, have you ever thought of changing the companies you work for? I'm really happy where I am at the moment, so yeah, definitely not something that's on my radar. Oh, it's a terrible stop. We are gonna... This is easier in real life, I promise. We'll pull this one up to the end of the platform because it's... Brakes into initial, straight air brake full on. Unlock doors on the left, although it might... Yeah, okay, that's... The ORR would like to have a word with you. Right, let's quickly lock the doors and disappear before anyone notices. 2-stop Charlie there. Yeah, no, Amy, that was definitely not a very good stop. Right, 10 miles an hour out of Lewis. Let's find the right buttons. There we go. You're looking at my face. Right, next stop on this Railtour service will be Brighton itself. Rightio, 10 miles an hour out of here. I haven't set my train length because I can't see the display because it's lighting issues, as we spoke about a little bit earlier on. So, whilst we are creeping along at 10 miles an hour with not much to do, let's press the magic button.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
Hey Astro, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hasn't it been a long time? No power, locomotive speed too high. What? Reset fault. That's what I was talking about earlier, where if you start speeding it, it cuts the power, and if you go too fast, it'll put the emergency brakes on. I didn't even know that was simulated. That's pretty cool. If we go to data meters, there we go. 11 miles an hour. But we are now good for 55. Line speed will go up to 70 once we get across the A27 road bridge. Right, what are we doing on the numbers? So, Jackson's Train and Bus Adventure, you're the first one. Spaceful, you're the second. Pig and Bob, you are the third one on my screen, my friend, with number 20.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Gonna give you box number 20 now. 10 seconds for that Locomotive Livery Location. If you can. Oh, there are a couple of boxes in this which are absolutely critical. Just really give it away. As always, do let me know your thoughts. What is it? Where is it? As we come up to Kingston Tunnel. Incidentally, if you want to see this route in real life, the bit from Seaford up to Brighton, I do have a driver's eye view video on the channel with that. No, Roblox Olympics on my screen you show underneath Pig and Bob, which is why I normally show the numbers, but as you can see, it's for some reason my screen capture for the numbers is kind of not working. It's just capturing the wrong bit of the screen at the moment. But no, I can absolutely assure you I am playing fairly, as I always do. Trains at the station has gone GBRF Class 66. Jackson's Train and Bus Adventure has gone GBRF 66. And there our line speed goes up to 70. Spaceful, what it usually is the purpose of installing 2-aspect signalling like seen occasionally on this stretch of line rather than 3 or 4 aspect? Basically 2-aspect signalling is cheaper to install and it's cheaper to maintain. So if you've got a section of track like this which doesn't have heavy traffic, it doesn't warrant having 3 or 4 aspect signalling. So 2-aspect signalling is just cheaper to install. There's no point putting 4-aspect signalling in, you know, allowing you to run a train every 2 or 3 minutes if you don't need to. It's just a waste of money. Roblox Olympics, my driver spadded twice today. That's certainly not good. Point to rail, I'm thinking GBRF Class 57. Alright, interesting. GJ says Class 66 NMT with Teletubby graffiti. You get top marks for the Teletubby graffiti. Right, we are climbing up Falmer Bank. This is quite a notorious bit of railway track. It is really steep coming up here. Oggy Og, oink oink oink, can I ask how to become a train driver? What do I need to do? I've got a fair few videos on the channel covering that topic, my friend. But basically, if you want to become a train driver, find a train driver's job and apply for it. That's your first port of call. Are you still at school, my friend? Are you at college, in work? Give me a little bit of context and I'll see what I can do to help you out. It's actually a brand deal with the Teletubbies. Yeah, sorry, this stream will contain product placement. It should have been a warning. Oh, Astro, I thought you would have been well and truly getting there with that now. Hopefully it won't be too long for you, my friend. Rightio, we are approaching the top of Falmer Bank. And what goes up must come down. I am liking the, I've said it a couple of times, the new suspension physics in-game do definitely help it feel a lot more realistic. Rightio, so we have got 35 of you lovely people watching. I suspect it might be more than that because it's frozen at 35. But if you haven't already, please do hit that like button, consider subscribing, that would be absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. And I'm going to start backing off the power there. Although we are still climbing, it's going to level off, start dropping down as we go through the tunnel. And we've got a 60 miles an hour restriction just as we come out the tunnel. So if we shut off our power there, we'll lose a little bit, and hopefully not gain too much going down. What's the best thing to try and do for an apprenticeship to become a driver? Good question, Trains at the Station. I would say just try and get an apprenticeship with a railway company doing whatever, because once you've got your foot in the door with a railway company, you know, you're going to build a rapport with other managers, you're going to build a relationship with different staff members, you're going to get to know people, you're going to be able to present yourself as a good member of staff, as someone worth investing time and money in. So I would absolutely just get any apprenticeship you can land in the railway with a train operating company is going to be good. I started off on the platforms, dispatching trains, worked my way up through the ranks to get to where I am today. So yeah, just get your foot in the door. Definitely just get your foot in the door. Gordon says, my end says 96 watching, now 100. Oh, thanks, Gordon. Yeah, mine's frozen on 35, which is interesting. We got 100 of you lovely people watching. Fantastic. I shall try and do it maybe properly-ish. So line speed does go back up to 70. We're going to keep it around 60 all the way into Brighton. It's sort of a little bit uppy-downy here. Omnic, thank you very much. Okay, what am I acknowledging my AWS for? We got a 55 coming up. I didn't see a warning board for that though. Maybe that was just a me problem. As we approach Hoddshrove Viaduct, and we'll get the brakes in. We'll try and brake in such a way where we're not going to spill everybody's tea in afternoon refreshments. What is it? 10:37 in the morning. Spilling their breakfast. And we've got one yellow. Our red is located just before Ditchling Road Tunnel. One yellow, red ahead. Brakes are already in. Speed's coming down quite nicely. As we come through Moulsecoombe Station. Don't need any more brake there. I'm quite confident that's going to do what we need it to do. Yeah, trains at the station. It's not a route I drive over very often, but it is one that I sign. The Brighton Mainline that we're going on to, I drive over that quite often, so I'd be happy to do that bit Huddless. It's a route refresher as well. Doop 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 doo. I know the HUD's just saying it's stepped up to one yellow, but I'm trying to drive it without sort of looking at the HUD, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to treat it as red until I see the signal. And we've got a green. That means we are all the way into Brighton. Hold the automatic brake. We are fully released. What are you talking about? Oggy, yeah, I'm working at the moment doing a driving job, but I'd love to get on the trains. So yeah, best thing what I would say, Oggy, is, you know, you do find jobs for trainee drivers. They do come up. Depending on what your salary requirements are and you know where you sort of want to be in the industry, just trying to get your foot in the door with any job you can is definitely the best way to go with that. If you're interested in doing freight, then look for like a shunter's job with a freight company, or whoever your local train operating company is. Just have a look for vacancies on their website. Right, we've got a 30 mile an hour coming up at the Brighton end of London Road Station, just before we go across London Road Viaduct. 30 across the viaduct, and then we are 20 across the junction, 25 into the station. So green on the last signal means we are all the way into Brighton Station. Greenie, you can change the HUD so it shows all signals are grey. Yes, you can. I did have it set up like that, but I've reinstalled my game recently, so I haven't quite got it set how I like it. As we come across London Road Viaduct, we've got a 20 at the end of the viaduct, so we'll keep a little bit of brake in. It's quite a sight. And we are going into platform number 6, which is good because that's the one that I programmed it for. So the Brighton Mainline is something that I am quite familiar with, very familiar with. I drive it quite often. So the next stream we do is going to be part 2 of this Railtour. The stream after that is going to be something a little bit different. Now I have tried this and it does work. I say I've tried it, I've had a little go. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to test my route knowledge on the Brighton Mainline. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to drive from London Victoria to Brighton, HUD-less, from the back cab of the train. So effectively, we're going to drive the train backwards. I'm going to have to sort of set up a scenario so we don't get any red signals. But we're going to drive the train backwards from London Victoria to Brighton, stopping at principal stations from the back of the train. So look out for that one, because I'm quite looking forward to that. Should be pretty cool. Rightio, platform 6 at Brighton, 15 at the platform ramps, which is where we want to be, and then we're going to drop it down to under 10 miles an hour for the TPWS loops approaching the buffer stops. And a 66 coming into Brighton on a Railtour, you'd expect the place to be absolutely heaving. Nobody's feeling any love for the sheds. Nobody's feeling any love for sheds. Lawrence, I see C2C is spending 200 million painting the 357s at Ilford Depot. They take the free trains out of service every week. I do like 357s. Leolo, yeah, safety systems have to be turned off with that, because if I can't see the signals, I can't react to the AWS. So yeah, definitely not a good idea to have the safety systems on with that. I am making a right meal of stopping this train. Yeah, trains at the station, the 66s have got TPWS. Anything that runs on the main line has to be fitted with TPWS. Even mainline steam engines are TPWS fitted. It is a requirement for mainline running. Amy, sheds are boring, give me a Vectron. Oh. I'm in no position to disagree with you. I do like a Vectron. Right, okay. So before we take the key out, fully destroy the brake. Into neutral. Key is out. And we are going to go onto the screen and cut the brake out, because we're going to be changing ends. So you can only have the brake cut in on one locomotive. If you've got it cut in on more than one locomotive, bad things happen. So brake cut out. In reality, in order to cut the brake out, we're going to have to go into the clean air compartment, which is in the number 1 end, and there's an isolating cock in the clean air compartment that we'd have to activate. And we're also going to want to turn our tail lights on. The tail lights are also configured wrong on this, because the tail light switch in this cab does the tail lights in the other cab, the opposite cab. Now on some locomotives that is the case. I mean 37, some of those work like that. But on 66s, the tail light switch does the local cab, it doesn't do the remote cab. So that is set up a bit wrong. Okay. Part 1 of the Railtour, or the first quarter of the Railtour, complete. Passengers on and off. And we are going to come over here, press E to hop. And we're going to route hop over to Brighton. Shame we can't route hop with all the trains spawned in and everything else. That would be... Well, that works. That's, Welcome to the fantastic route hopping feature on Train Sim World 5. To be fair, this is the first time that's happened. It normally works okay. Right. It's 10:45 in the morning. Let's give that another go. That's definitely not supposed to happen. To the trains. Choose a route. London commuter. Timetable mode. We'll spawn on foot at Brighton Station. Dynamic weather on. 10:45 in the morning. Go. Route hopping is a very stable feature. The pie train, no more Brighton, peace at last. Brilliant. Right, while that's loading, I've got to spawn in the train and do what I've got to do. So why I am doing my thing, why don't you get some numbers in?
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
Get those numbers in for Locomotive Livery Location. Numbers between 1 and 36 in the chat. Fantastic. Right, let's make sure this end is set up correctly before we walk down the other end. So our direct brake is released. Our brake is showing as cut out. That is, and the key is out. That's exactly what we want to see. Rightio, what have we got on the numbers? So, third number on my screen is Point A Rail with number 27.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Here we go, guys. Going to give you box number 27. 10 seconds for that Locomotive Livery Location, if you can, please. Is that helping you? Let me know, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Does that help? Okay, we've got no reds on the back. And like I said, this is because it is all the wrong way around. So we're going to pop into this cab. We're going to pop tail lights on. Check the straight air brakes released, which it is. Check the keys out, which it is. So that is all good to go. Onto the back, we now have reds. Perfect. Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventures says class 69 or 66. Trains at the station says GBR for class 66. Darryl, remember the lights at the back of your loco? Yeah, we've just done that. I'm aware the chat is a couple of seconds behind, so we're all good. And now we come up to what is going to be the lead loco. Tail lights are off there, which is what we would expect them. Are the tail lights on here? No, that's good. So we don't need to go in the other cab. We do need to go in the other cab, sorry, because I need to put the safety systems in. So I've said it before, but generally speaking, well, not generally speaking, safety systems will always be turned on. The only time you would ever turn a safety system off in real life is if you had a fault with the safety system or during certain conditions that we won't go into. But yeah, safety systems would always be on by default. Having to go and turn them on is a train sim world thing. That's not a real life thing. Okay. Richard, your loco is the wrong colour. It's not the wrong colour. It's red. I mean, I'm not gonna go into that. Okay, we're gonna have to run on yard lights again because we've got the lighting issue in here as well. Rightio. So, key in. Acknowledge that. Straight air brake applied. Automatic brake charge to initial. Parking brake is off. Lights are set. GSMR radio, beep, 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 all of that sort of thing. We're in past timings instead of goods timings. That is fine. And we want to make sure the brakes are cut in. Brakes are cut in, yep, that's fine. If the brakes weren't cut in, to be fair, we wouldn't be able to charge the brake pipe. And we'll put this on data meters so we can keep an eye on the loco MPH. Right. Okay, we are going to run up to Clapham Junction, platform 17. I'm hoping we're going to be able to run via the slow line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a pathway as far as... I think we'll set a pathway as far as Redhill, platform 0. Hopefully it's not going to do any weird and wonderful things with us. We are going to be stopping at... we're going to be having a couple of station stops. We're going to be stopping at Haywards Heath, Three Bridges. Oh, we might as well stop at Redhill as we're passing through. Haywards Heath, Three Bridges, Redhill, and then Clapham Junction. So, we are all good for departure. Charging the brake pipe. Straight air off, into forward. Let's be brave. Let's do it hudless. Providing the free roam mode doesn't let me down and send us somewhere that we don't want to go. Right, we are 25 coming out of Brighton. What's it got us down? It has got us down as 25. That is correct. Got a green and an M. M tells me we're going up the main. If we had an E, we'd be going on the East Coastway route back towards Lewis. Sam Powell, good evening. How are we doing? Paul Gray, good evening. Lewis Gates, it's my birthday on Monday, so I'm treating myself to a first-class LNER journey, and one of my services is a diet. Excellent. Instrument lights, there we go. I bet they're putting you onto the fast. Can you look out the window of the coaches? You can look out the window on the loco, which is something we definitely should be doing. We should be doing a look back check as we pull out, just to make sure everything's following. If we're looking back as well, we want to keep looking forward so we don't spat a signal or get our heads knocked off by a bridge coming up or anything like that, because that would be pretty bad news. What happens if you turn off the safety systems in real life, says Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventures? So if you do have to isolate a safety system, if you're doing it without permission, or if you're doing it without authority or without good reason, that's going to be tea and biscuits with the manager. That's definitely going to be like a misconduct thing, so you can expect serious repercussions from that. If you do have to isolate them as part of your procedures, there's kind of rules as to how fast you're allowed to travel with safety systems isolated, what circumstances you can travel, you know, whether you've got to be accompanied by a competent person or not. It gets sort of complicated with rules and regulations there. What's my favourite class 47 trains at the station? Don't really have one, if I'm being honest. I just generally like the glass. JLS Plays, hello. How is everyone? I'm good, JLS. How are you, my friend? Trainboy, Dabra, remember to your running brake test. Yeah, absolutely. We want to be above 30 miles an hour really before we do that. We'll get a little bit of speed up. Let's get it going as we come around towards Preston Park. Yeah, Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventures. You wouldn't run without safety systems turned on unless you had very good reason. If you had to isolate them due to a fault or failure, you'd be phoning up and getting permission from the signaller. Everyone's going to know about it. It's not really going to be something you're going to do for your own back. Lawrence, it's my birthday at the end of the month, so I'm taking the overnight sleeper to Edinburgh, the first class to York to go visit the British Train Museum. Oh, excellent. Yeah, we're just coming through Preston Park. And power off. Just going to let it roll, do our roll test, which is always good. That's something the manager will be looking out for on the download, is to make sure you've done a roll test. And then we're doing 45 now, let's put the brakes into initial. And we just want to see a 10 mile an hour reduction in speed. The other thing we should have done before we left Brighton as well, we would have done a full brake continuity. Sorry, no, we won't have needed a brake continuity test because we haven't changed the formation of the train. But we would have done a brake overcharge, which is where we overcharge the brake pipe to 5.4 bar and then allow that to bleed back to 5 bar before we move the train. And the reason we do that is just to equalise the distributors on the coaches. Right, we're all released. Let's get this thing going. JLS, I'm doing great. Just got back from a car show. Awesome. Watching you whilst playing some video games. What car show did you go to? Did you see anything nice? Hey, David Drive 66. Good evening. How are we doing? 377 coming the other way there. We're just coming around the corner now towards Patcham Tunnel. Line speed will go up from 75 to 90. Although that's not really going to bother us because we are limited to 75. Harry Cross, hello, welcome, new subscriber, great to have you here. Roblox, my driver drove the class 158, which I was riding on at 120 miles per hour. I thought the top speed of the class was 90 miles per hour. Roblox Olympics, how did you know they were doing 120 miles an hour? Quite interested to know. Yeah, Jackson's Trains and Bus Adventures. Cali Sleeper is, so out of Euston I think it's normally 92s, but I think occasionally it's up in Scotland they use 73.9s, and I think they do occasionally use 66s. Yeah, train boy, if you're running with a snowplow, then you have to have 2 drivers in the cab, and you have to have your TPWS and your... you don't think you would need your AWS isolated, but you'd certainly need your TPWS isolated. But yeah, you'd have to have 2 drivers for that. Right, we're through Patcham Tunnel now. We're approaching Clayton Tunnel. Line speed on the Brighton Mainline is 90 miles an hour all the way up to Balcombe Tunnel at this point. In terms of line speed changes, as long as you don't get, if you don't turn off anywhere, if you don't go over any junctions, it is pretty easy. Leo Low, no, I've never been what we call it Bang Road, so going wrong road. I've never done it up and down here. It is signalled for it. There is something called Simbidge, which is simplified bi-directional signalling. But it does get used, but it's not often. Roblox Olympics, I had an app on my phone that tells me how fast the vehicle I'm riding on is going. Roblox Olympics, I can almost guarantee you that your app was misreading. It's very, very unlikely that a 158 would have been doing 120 miles an hour. And we're coming up to 75 now, just approaching 70. I'm just going to take a couple of notches of power out there. Lewis Gates, if you are diagrammed to run pass on your shift, would you get a pass for a train, or is your uniform a big giveaway to revenue staff? I get a pass for a train. Yeah, no, you get a pass basically, which allows when you're on duty, it allows you to travel on certain trains. Yeah, Nick, let's absolutely do it. One down in his boat, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is not a single level crossing along the Brighton Mainline. You are correct. There's only a handful of foot crossings now as well. A lot of those have been replaced by footbridges. I don't know if I can jump into free cam now and then shuffle off to the end of the tunnel. If that's a thing, is it going to let me do that? Lewis Gates, will you be treated on ETCS? Yes, eventually. Oh no, come on, that's not fair. No. We tried. Sorry, the camera let me down there. George, hi, how are we doing? We are speeding. There we go. Locomotive, no power, speed too high. So let's just bring our speed down a little bit there. Let's get down with it. So the speed, if we're only allowed to do 75, typically we're sort of keeping it around the 70 mark. Just gives us a little bit of a window for error there. Hassock Station. Gonna drop a little bit more braking, I think. Just trim that speed down a little bit. There we go. That'll do. The line here is pretty flat. We do climb up a little bit towards Hayward's Heath, but gradients are nothing too major along here. So as we come down towards Burgess Hill, let's press the button.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
What I will tell you, I'll give you a little bit of a clue about this Locomotive Livery Location picture. When I was sent the picture, as in the whole picture, I guessed it wrong. I got the class of locomotive wrong, and I could see the picture, which is probably a little bit worrying. 2 yellows. Not sure if that gives you a clue or not. 2 yellows, reds at Clapham Junction. Okay, third number on screen is trains at the station with number 18.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Here we go. Going to give you box number 18. 10 seconds for that Locomotive Livery Location, if you can. And I'm getting some serious braking in here because I'm just going past the line of this. What is it? Where is it? Faults. Has that box helped you? We are red ahead at Clapham Junction, making good use of risk-triggered commentary driving. Focusing on the red ahead. The red is not at the end of the station platform. It is beyond the station platform here at Burgess Hill. Trains at the station now are rail class 31. I knew this was going to be a challenging one tonight. GJ Class 60 NMT with the Teletubby logo. What's happened there? Right, so would anybody like to tell me why TPWS has just activated? I mean, I was doing about 15 miles an hour. The red signal's miles away. The AWS wasn't going off, to my knowledge. I mean, there is a sound bug sometimes. Why have I just had a TPWS activation? Yeah, that is completely and utterly... absolutely no reason for that at all. We are stopped bang on the stop mark for the platform. I mean, I could not have done that. If I had tried to do that, that would not have happened. I mean, look at that. That's almost a perfect stop at Burgess Hill. Yeah, that definitely should have happened. Should not have happened. Time to call the signaller. Yes, so what we'd be doing now is phoning the signaller, telling him we've had a TPWS activation, explaining the circumstances. We would need to complete what's known as an RT3185 form. We're going to be phoning the company as well, phoning our local control, explaining to them what's happened. They're going to get in contact with a manager who's going to then make a call as to whether we're able to continue on or whether we need to be relieved from duty. In this situation, you know, something's definitely not right there. That was not my fault, that activation. No, Anakin didn't press the wrong button. The safety system took me out, the TPWS safety system. I've got no idea why. It was completely unjustified. The speed we were travelling, there was literally no need for that at all. Shouldn't have anything to do with that on the track, on the EM2000, sorry. Right, next signal stepped up to 2 yellows. TPWS very overzealous there. Jake, hello, good evening. How are you doing? Yeah, point A rail infrastructure fault. I would say so. I would say so. Yeah, Ludwig Tail's possibly bugged. It's not bugged. It's simulating a genuine infrastructure fault. TPWS on Brighton Mainline on this game is, I believe, in the wrong place. Yeah, that would explain it. Because that definitely should not have taken me out there. I was driving most appropriately. Lewis Gates, have you ever drove a train on a shift with degraded working? Depends what you mean by degraded working. I've done like single line working and emergency special working. Not emergency special working, sorry, modified working. So I've done a few things. Anakin, do signal numbers tell which signal is regular block signal and which signal is a home signal and is controlled by the signaller? So, Anakin, when we're talking about section signals, so your section block signals, intermediate block homes, home signals, etc., etc., you're talking about a method of signalling known as absolute block signalling. So absolute block signalling is not really used in many locations now. So on a mainline railway, you don't sort of have home signals in the traditional sense. If you're running under track circuit block regulations that we are now, you might say, you know, the signal protecting a station is its home signal, but it's not really. They're not sort of known as home or section signals. The only signal we do still have on track circuit block is distance signals on 2 aspect signalling, but yeah, in terms of what's a home signal, what's a section signal, that's something you're only really going to see in absolute block signalling. The signals do tell us if it's an automatic signal or a controlled signal though, depending on what the signal plate is like. Ah, Lewis, I see what you mean. Yeah, I've driven a couple of trains where we've had safety systems isolated, for various reasons. We've had faults with trains. So you also raise another question there, Lewis, or an interesting point. Have you ever degraded working with a train where something has had to be isolated by the depot? So generally speaking, if a train is starting its journey from a maintenance depot, it cannot enter service with any equipment isolated on it. If you're taking it to another maintenance depot, that's a little bit more of a grey area, but if you've got isolated equipment on the train, it would not be allowed to enter service. If you're in service and you have a failure, you would be allowed to isolate equipment in order to get the train out of service, get it to a depot. But if you're at a depot, it wouldn't be entering service with something isolated. Train boy, I've got no plans to do any roadblock stuff at the moment. Rightio, we are now running on greens. We are coming towards Haywards Heath, which is going to be our first station stop, followed by Three Bridges and then Clapham Junction. And we're going to shut off power there. Line speed does say stays 90 all the way through here. If we get the junction indicator coming towards Haywards Heath to go over to platform 1 or platform 4, platform 1, platform 2 or platform 4 will be a 40-mile-an-hour crossover. We can't go through platform 2 at Haywards Heath if we are continuing towards London, as the end of platform 2 has a fixed red signal on it. Wardle Restorations, good evening, how are you doing? Good to have you here. Rightio, coming towards Haywards Heath Tunnel. Yeah, Spacefall, I realised my pronunciation of that was not as it should be. Clapham Junction, not Clapham. Ollie, sorry I'm late. No need to apologise. And we'll drop a little bit of brake in there coming towards Haywards Heath now, because the brakes on this are not performing amazingly great. Yeah, Lewis Gates, an interesting one about ARS, so ARS, automatic route setting. Some signal boxes are equipped with it, especially modern IECC type signal boxes, some are not. So I think sometimes the signallers can just leave it on manual, on automatic mode and not have much interaction with the panel, they're just observing. But as a driver you can sometimes tell when it's on automatic route setting, because if you're running early, for example, you'll approach a junction running 5 minutes early and you'll get stopped at the junction because the automatic route setting won't clear the route across the junction for you. And then you're approaching signals at danger that you don't need to be approaching at danger, so you're increasing your risk of having a SPAD. So the automatic route setting does have its limitations. There you go, as Wardle Restorations just said, don't get me started on ARS at Northampton. Enjoying the rest of my week off before the T3s next weekend. Yeah, I was booked on a T3 this weekend, but for whatever reason it didn't happen. But it means I've had a lovely day at home. 3 to 9, we'll go all the way to the end of the platform with this. Mega Simulator Gamer, hello, how are we doing? And there we go, 12 on the 12, or close enough. We've only got 10 coaches. Well, 10 and 2 locos, I suppose this is probably the equivalent of 12, isn't it? And doors open on the left-hand side. Not that we're really going to be responsible for opening the doors. Yeah, it's turned the lights on at the back again, guys. You saw... I wonder if that is somehow linking to this. I've got no idea what's going on with that, because you saw when we left Brighton, I set the lights right, and we had reds on the back. So, BMW M3. What is my favourite station that I sign? I don't think I've got a favourite station in particular, if I'm being honest. Radio. Let's get this thing going. Radio has gone. The guard on the train has given us the right of way. Next stop, it will be Three Bridges. Ollie, are you a driver in real life? I am competent to drive trains in real life, yes. Better at it in real life, I promise. Okay, controls are doing weird things. I'm trying to look out the window, but it's jumped me to the window on the other side for some reason. There we go. Yeah, Ollie, we're doing a Railtour service today. Just using the free roam mode with a custom created Class 66 formation. So it's not actually a service that's in the game. It's just something we've made up using the free roam mode. A little bit of imagination. Very much Rule 1 today because we're not using the right types of coaches and stuff. So it's all good though. It's all good. The arrows also give views around the cab. Yeah, they do, Amy. I was just noticing that as I was going around different panels and stuff, which is pretty cool. Right, we are good for 75 again. Next station stop will be Three Bridges. BMW M3, what's your favourite locomotive that's electric? Oh, Class 73s without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, I have driven them. Spacefall, Dabra, when you reach 25,000 subscribers, you should do a reaction of your oldest, most viewed video as a subscriber special. I don't know if I'm really into doing reaction videos, but I'd like to revisit some of my older videos because I've got a few that done really well, so it might be quite interesting to just sort of review them and maybe remake them. Pig and Bob, the rear headlight thing is just a TSW bug since it's happened in Train Sim World 4 too. Oh, good to know. Good to know. Lewis Gates, when would you be diagrammed for route refreshers, and are train drivers required to do traction refreshers throughout the... Yeah, Lewis, definitely. You need route refreshers and traction refreshers. So if you haven't driven a type of traction for an amount of time, I think it's normally a year. It depends on your company's company standard, but I think it's normally a year. If you haven't driven a type of traction for longer than a year, then you need a refresher on it before you can drive it again. Same with routes. So yeah, it's not like you can drive something now and then you're competent on it forever. You've got to use it to maintain competency. Mark Murray, hello, how are we doing? Water Restoration is dying to learn more traction, but got a few routes to do first. What are you looking forward to learning? Route wise and traction wise, is there anything on your bucket list? As we approach the Ouse Valley Viaduct, the weather is deteriorating, as is always the case on a Railtour. How are we doing for speed? Don't have my speed on that. Wyland Joe, as a freight driver, if you ever worked on engineering trains during an engineering position? Yeah, regularly. Yeah, it's very much bread and butter stuff, that is.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
Okay, let's have another round of the numbers game. Don't think we've had any correct guesses yet on this one. It's an interesting one. You got a fair bit there, Wardle, already. 69s would be nice. Nice to try. It's a conversation I'll have off stream. Right, what are we doing? What are we doing on numbers? Olympian Transport, you're the third one on my screen, my friend, with number 21.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Giving you 21 now, 10 seconds to that Locomotive Livery Location, if you can. This is it is gettable. If you get the right boxes, it is gettable. As we come through Balcombe Station on the screen. It's just going to be getting those right boxes. It is gettable. Although, like I said earlier, I was shown the picture and got the wrong locomotive straight away. I confused it with something else. Is that a clue, maybe? Sussex Rail enthusiast, I need to come down to the railway. I just have a day out down there. I've been promising myself to do it for years. When the weather gets a bit nicer, I definitely will do. Shane says Waverley. BMW says 76 at some depot. Train Boy, I believe it's on the Southwestern line, so we don't go over that. Mega Simulator Gamer at 56. Shane Ewan, Brickwork does scream Waverley. Ollie, class 73, Edinburgh Waverley. Hey, you might be onto something with the brickwork. Olympia Transport 97, interesting. Point A Rail, I'm thinking Colas 56 at Crewe. Wardle, I might have to take you up on that. Rightio, we are coming through Balcombe Tunnel towards Balcombe Tunnel Junction. Is it going to be foggy? Is it suddenly going to turn foggy again as we come out the tunnel? Yeah, look at that. It's magic, that, isn't it? Absolute magic. Right, which way are we going at the junction? Is it going to have us onto the slow lines, or are we going to stay on the fasts? I bet we cross over at Ellswood. He's putting us up the fast lines. So line speed's going to stay 75 for us. Line speed stays 90. If we were crossing over onto the slow lines, line speed would be dropping to 70 across the junction. Then it goes back up to 90 or 80 or something and drops to 60 again at Three Bridges. I would normally do 70 all the way. I wouldn't accelerate. We are stopping at Three Bridges. That is going to be our only other station stop, with the exception of Clapham Junction on this Railtour service. This Railtour service is stopping at more stations than the normal passenger train. Ollie, you're not wrong. Typical British weather, the fog. It's absolutely typical British weather. The challenge for me is now trying to find Three Bridges in the fog. I know it's up here somewhere. Let's get some braking. In reality, I'd be looking for the Thameslink depot coming up. We'd have the head shunt on the left-hand side. That would tell me I'm getting quite close. I know the brakes on these coaches are not the best in the world, so we'll get the brakes in nice and early. And there we go. Yeah, now we've got loads of room. Absolutely loads of room. Slow and steady wins the race. Let's do it again.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
There's the head shunt on the left-hand side. That's the Siemens Class 700 depot. And we've got a signal just coming up now. This is the last signal before Three Bridges. And we are in on the numbers. That was quick. Jake, you are the third one in, my friend, with number 6. We'll get stopped at Three Bridges. And then we'll play. Nick B, fun fact, the nasty accident in Clayton Tunnel back in 1861 was said to be the inspiration for Charles Dickens' ghost story, The Signalman. I did not know that. Incidentally, a number of drivers, or quite a few drivers, do report having seen apparitions in Clayton Tunnel. I've never seen anything myself. I'm not I wouldn't say I believe, but I don't disbelieve. I'm very open-minded when it comes to that sort of thing. But yeah, I've not seen anything. As we come into Three Bridges power signal box on the right-hand side, who are responsible for the passage of our train up as far as Norbury. That is slowing down quite well. 20 coming up. It's quite a fistful of braking there, though. A little bit more than I would like. Just brought it back up to initial as we approach the end of the platform. And we give it a little bit more. Ooh! As long as the coaches are on the platform. Okay, right. Are we behind the signal? Yeah, that's... We should be stopped before the signal, but we'll get the conductor to confirm what the signal aspect is showing before we depart. Okay, passengers on, passengers off. We are now fast. Oh no, I did say we were going to stop at Redhill as well, didn't I? Yeah, we'll stop at Redhill as well. I did say that. Okay, Locomotive Livery Location. Jake, number 6.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Going to give you box number 6. 10 seconds for the Locomotive Livery Location, if you can. Any ideas? Where is it? Who is it? What is it? Where is it? All of those good things. Lewis Gates, Three Bridges Rock is... So as we come into Three Bridges Rock is to the left-hand side, out of view. Let's abandon the train for a minute. So, as we look at it from this direction, Three Bridges Power Signal Box is this building on our left-hand side, although it doesn't actually look like that. And Three Bridges Rail Operating Centre is that building there, although it doesn't look like that either. Trainboy says class 43. Sussex Rail Enthusiast says class 92. Interesting. BMW says 800 at Edinburgh. Let's put data meters back up. 44 miles an hour. Lovely stuff. As we come up towards Gatwick. And we go past Crawley New Yard in a minute. Point A rail could also be a GBRF Caledonian Sleeper Class 92. Interesting. Jake says not sure. Lewis, 700s I think are very clinical inside, but from a cab point of view and a driver's point of view, they're very nice. But from a passenger perspective, long distance routes like Horsham to Peterborough, don't really think they're ideal for that. But they're quite modern. They're airy. There's a lot of capacity on them. Trainboy keeps asking about 59 and the 66. The 59s are older than 66s and they're actually more powerful as well. 2 yellows as we pass through Tinsley Green Junction. Red is on the end of the platform at Gatwick Airport at this point. Knowing that the brakes are not very good, we'll get a fairly chunky lump in. GJ says class 60 at Newcastle. Shane says class 66 at Waverley. Unwind and relax your mental health. Good evening, Richard. Hope you're well. Thank you for all you do for the TSW community. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. It's absolutely my pleasure. Thoroughly enjoy doing it. This is a good signal to get stopped on. If you get stopped here, you watch the planes go across. You're right on the flight path here for Gatwick. 1 yellow. Road's at the end of the platform, Gatwick Airport. Actually, we'll keep some brake in, thinking about it. We're possibly getting... No, you can't get crossed onto the slow line this side of Gatwick, because there might be a Gatwick Express service booked up in front of us. I want to get some brakes in now because looks like the signal has come off to 1 yellow. We got 2 yellows. Lovely. BMW, have you ever travelled on a 158 or 159? What was your experience and what company was it? I've travelled on a 158 with Northern a few times, and I've travelled on 159s with South Western Railways. I think they're really good. I'm a big fan of them. I think they're very nice, comfortable trains. Right, stepped up to green. Just passed through Gatwick Airport. Next station will be Hawley. Lewis, yeah, do you know what? I was thinking about that today doing East Coast Mainline, because I'm aware we've done a lot of West Coast Mainline stuff lately, but the East Coast Mainline hasn't had much love. We could probably do an 80... I like the 87, it's nice to drive. We'll probably do an Azuma run on it, or we could do an 87 run on it. Railtour run. Drive the Flying Scotsman. I'm not very good when it comes to steam engines. We can give it a go. We can give it a go. Richard, have you ever driven a 56? What do you think of it and why? I've never driven a 56. I've had a cab ride on a 56, but never driven one. I've driven 57s, which were very nice. But yeah, not 56s. Rightio, coming up through Hawley Station. Let's try and get a flyby shot. As we come through Hawley. There was an 87 tour on the East Coast Mainline recently. May I suggest doing a York-London stopper as you have more calling points? Yeah, I prefer a service that's got a few more stops on it rather than just going fast A to B. That's why I'm not a fan of doing the freight services really, because you're just sort of driving A to B, and I do like to have a few station stops on there. Sausage Rail Enthusiast, I didn't see it, but I did hear it go past my window about 8 o'clock, 8:30 this morning. Makes a lovely bit of noise powering up as it leaves West St Leonard's. I've seen the pictures though. I've seen the pictures. Oh, BMW, I'm probably a West Coast Mainline person, if I'm being honest. Although I am modelling the East Coast Mainline, or East Coast Mainline-ish. Right, we are just coming up to Salford. No, you're absolutely, BMW, you're absolutely fine. Not a problem, not a problem. So if you are here, you are enjoying the stream, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. Consider subscribing, it really does help me out. And I am aware that we've not got many correct guesses for Locomotive Livery Location, and we are coming towards the end of the stream, so press the button.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
Yeah, Train Boy, the station at the beginning of the stream is East Croydon. We'll go through there in a minute. So we are slightly uphill all the way to Redhill, very slightly. Coming through Salford Station. We are going to get checked down in a minute because we need to be crossing over at Ayleswood. Lewis Gate's got to be a cup of tea for me. Rightio, on the numbers. Pig and Bob. You're the third one in, my friend, with number 8.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Going to give you box number 8, guys. 10 seconds for that Locomotive Livery Location, if you can. Ah, that's a good one. What is it? Where is it? Does that help you? I would expect in real life now for the signals to be checking me down. I'd expect to be coming down onto yellows. Because we are going to get crossed over at Ellswood, so... I'm not quite sure why that hasn't happened. Oh, there we've got yellows now. Okay, perfect. I'm not on my phone while driving, I promise. That's not what a professional driver would do. Right, 2 yellows, perfect. GJ's gone GBRF Class 60 Newcastle. BMW's gone Sleeper Train Waverley. Matt has gone GBRF 66. Point A Rail's gone GBRF 92 Waverley or Victoria. Right, last one was 2 yellows. We are expecting it'd be 30 miles an hour through this crossover. We are expecting the route indicator on this signal, which we have got. 1 yellow, position 1 junction indicator, routes us onto the up slow. Point A Rail, GBRF Class 92 Waverley. Sussex Rally Enthusiast could be a GBRF loco at Carlisle. Ah! New take on the location. Interesting. Have you seen the teasers for a DRS20 Mega Simulator Gamer? I absolutely have. 1 yellow, red ahead. We want platform... We are booked through platform 0 at Redhill. Normally you'd be able to see this red signal with good time, but the signals don't pierce through the fog in the game like they do in real life. Not with the Train Sim World 2 routes anyway. Amy says GBRF 92. Is it a 92? Is it a 60? Is it a 31? Is it the Flying Banana? Red ahead. It's a little bit too fast over the AWS magnet, but we are in control of the train. Making sure we're not spadding. Want to be stopping about a loco length from the signal. Come on, come on. Powering up towards a red. It's not good practice. Sometimes you have to. Tango 496. We are stopped. Okay, straight air brake on. Into neutral. Train is secure. Right, let's have a look on the map and see why it's not letting me have that platform. Oh, because there's a train just going into there. Of course there is. The Reigate to London Victoria service. So we're going to follow that all the way up now, which is actually good because it gives us a little bit of variety in game. Sussex Rail Enthusiast 1001 tripped the TPWS at Eastbourne last week. Oh, okay. Tattoo, glad you're back with videos, Richard. Always let the train take the strain. Always let the train take the strain. Absolutely. Leo Low, no DRA on Class 66s. Not everything is fitted with them, UK mainline wise. Most passenger stock will be, but not all locos have got them. Yeah, not the 66 doesn't have DRA on it. Mega Simulator Gamer, where does a DRS20 operate? I think they occasionally have them on railhead treatment trains and stuff like that. Charters, various bits and bobs. I think sometimes they might do some unit moves. Lewis, when I am on RTT and I see a cancel reason due to the operator's request, what does that mean? It normally means the customer or someone's cancelled the train. So, or the... yeah, 9 times out of 10 it means the customers cancelled the train. So it's normally a freight train you'll see that on, and the customers cancelled it. If you see it on a passenger train, that's a little bit unusual, but yeah, or it means they don't want to give an operational reason. Right, it has started snowing in game. That's going to make it a little bit more interesting. I'm not sure what time that train's due to depart. Stopped arriving at instructions. I'm just wondering whether we... I tell you what we'll do actually. We will... Because what's happened here is ARS has programmed for us to go into platform 0 and the signal is now going to override it. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a path. So we're no longer calling it Red Hill. I've decided. Clapham Junction, platform 16. There we go, 1 yellow. This train will no longer call at Red Hill. I'm hoping what's going to happen now is we're going to follow that. That was bad. Put it into forward, it does help. Oh no, 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 no. That is definitely not supposed to happen. We're not supposed to go backwards. That's definitely not supposed to happen. And I'm taking power with the brakes still on as well, which is really bad practice. Right, 1 yellow, red ahead. Dave Souffle, looking in my LLL, guess 92 at Edinburgh Waverley. Excellent. Milam, good. I am from Indonesia with PT Kereta API Indonesia Kite Operation Area 2. Hello, how you doing, my friend? It's getting snowy. Should we see if the wipers on this thing work? Oh, terrible. I didn't turn the... Oh, they're nearly as bad. Sound nearly as bad as they do in real life. Right, we are red ahead, and this is where you get frustration as a train driver, because you think that Reigate to Victoria train's not booked off for another 5 minutes. Why is the signal not giving me the road? Why is he letting that train go in front of me? That's a stopping train. I've got to follow it all the way now. This is the things we have to deal with. Right, red ahead. Let's get stopped at this one. Kamikaze 101, I will answer your question. I'm just going to get stopped at this signal because you deserve a decent answer to that question. God, I can't believe he's going to put that stopping train in front of me. It's just like it happens in real life. We'll go and look at the PIS display and see whether we've got time to go and make a cup of tea before that train leaves. Right, that'll do. That's close enough. We want to be about a loco length away from the signal. Kamikaze, how do you find the game compared to real-life driving trains? As an HGG driver, I'm always at Steelworks, seeing freight trains come and go. I always wonder if it's as close to in real life. It's not the same. It's not the same as driving in real life. The physics are not too bad in the way they're simulated, but everything's very as expected. So when I put the brakes on it, it will do the same thing every single time. When I take power, it'll do the same thing every time. You know, there's no character to it in the way it performs. You know, there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no variation in the way the train performs. There's no surprises. I put the brakes in, I know it's going to stop. You know, on a real thing, you've got a bit of interest and a bit of fun. Sometimes things don't quite do what you expect them to do, and you've got to react to that. You know, when you're driving for real as well, you're going to have people moving around, you're going to have temporary speed restrictions, you're going to have P-way staff on the track that you've got to sound your horn for. You've got to be a lot more alert as to what's going on. On this, you just follow the signals and keep going, and there's no consequences. So, in some ways it's okay. It kind of does give you an idea of what the job entails, but it's not exactly the same. It's probably the same if you look at Euro Truck Simulator. You know, I should imagine you drive around on there and you smash into things and hit things. You're not checking your mirrors properly. You're not, you know, you haven't got to worry spatial awareness in the same way you have if you're doing the job for real. So it's, in some ways yes, in some ways no, I think is the best way I can answer that. Right, what time is that thing going? 11:41 to London Victoria. Oh dear, oh dear. Right, okay, whilst we are waiting for the Southern train, nothing new there. Let's press the button.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
Yeah, no, we're on the through road at Redhill here. So I was saying about fast line. The fast line would be the quarry lines are like the upright and fast. So we're on the through line here at Redhill, sometimes called the fast line. Okay, that was really quick on the numbers. GJ, you are straight in there with number 28.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Gonna give you number 28. 10 seconds for that Locomotive Livery Location. If you can. Any detail on that bogey that might help you distinguish what class of locomotive this is with Teletubby graffiti? And where it is as well. I think the location is going to be a little bit more difficult to get on this. Jai Floggenshin, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong there. Do you think we should have some expert level UK locos so you have the variety and failure risk? Definitely. One of the things the game doesn't have is that kind of dynamic element to it in terms of dynamic failures. I would just love to see some real world events, so temporary speed restrictions, P-way staff at the side of the track that you need to whistle out. You know, delays, signals that need passing at danger because they've failed, and stuff like that. Dynamic routing. That I can understand why it's not in game. It's very hard to do, but that sort of dynamic element would be really fantastic. Okay, we've got one yellow. The risk here is what's known as a soy spad. Start on yellow spad, so one yellow, next signal is at danger. Two yellows, that is even better. The amp gauge is bouncing around all over the place. In real life, they don't really do that. Yes, Stroddy123, the sim barely has red signals. That's very not like driving in real life. You're always getting checked down in real life and having to regulate your speed. It's running on greens all the time is not a typical day. I say that if you're running up and down the East Coast, West Coast Mainline, kind of, you know, you might get greens a lot of the time, but typically you're going to get checked down in places more so than you do in game. BMW's gone GBRF 73's Motherwell. Amy definitely a 92. And there's absolutely no point me rushing here because my route and timetable knowledge tells me that the train in front is going to be stopping at Merstham and Colston South. So I've got two yellows on that one. The next one is probably still going to be one yellow when we get there because that train is going to stop at Merstham. So there's literally no point me rushing around at this point. I'm just going to catch that train up. So we'll keep the speed down. And we are now driving in snowy conditions, so we do need to consider additional running brake tests to try and keep the brake rigging nice and warm. See, what we want in an ideal world is we want the next signal to step up to two yellows before we reach it, because if the next signal steps up to two yellows, what that tells me is the train in front has left Merstham. Then we know it's on the move. It doesn't stop again to Colston South. And if it's left Merstham and it's on the move, that's great because we haven't got to approach a red signal. One yellow, one yellow, one yellow. And red signals, if anyone says to you, where's the red, it's always round the corner. One yellow, one yellow, one yellow. And it is at this point now where we're passing the one yellow. This is now where your risk begins of having a spad. Because we are travelling at low speed, so our perception of risk is low. There's a perception that, you know, we're not at a particular risk because we are going slow. We're going to have to take some power. Between now and reaching the red signal, there is a lot of potential for distraction and things to happen, which is how you can end up having spads. A lot of spads occur not because the person didn't see the red signal, but because the driver didn't see the yellow signal, didn't acknowledge correctly the yellow signal. So it's times like this when your concentration level actually becomes heightened, or needs to become heightened, which is when you start using your wrist trigger commentary driving. So we're just going to keep repeating: red ahead, red signal ahead, and there we go. We can see the red. That has stepped up to yellow. There we go. Hoping we're going to get 2 yellows on it, because if we go past another 1 yellow, we've got to creep round the corner till we get to the next signal. If it's stepped up to 2 yellows, that means the train in front's making progress. And all the time we're not approaching red signals, we can't have a spad. So we just regulate our speed accordingly. So I believe these signals are much easier to see in real life. Okay, that's come up to green, that's perfect, we can get going. So I know, due to my route knowledge, I know the train in front is now 90 miles an hour all the way up to Starbridge, drops down to 75, then stops at Coulson South. That train is now halfway through Quarry Tunnel, which is the, Merstham Tunnel, which is the tunnel in front of us. So I know that I can now accelerate. There's enough space between me and the train in front. I can only do 75, train in front can do 90. It's, hopefully before we get to Coulson South, it's going to be well and truly out of the way. Yeah, Leo, when you're in free roam mode, it does sometimes have a habit of giving you impossible paths, like it put you on the wrong road and stuff like that, which is always a little bit interesting when that happens, and frustrating as well, especially if you're at the end of sort of a half-decent run. So hopefully it won't do that. Hopefully it's going to be all good. Especially when we get up into the London area and the tracks become a little bit more complicated. Right, Merstham, with its not snowy platforms that are doing weird things. Yeah, that lighting is really, really annoying. Yeah, train boy, spad is signal passed at danger. Leo had to remove a train at East Croydon once. Yeah, of course, if things get stuck now, you can do that, can't you? Which is quite useful. It's like playing SimSig when it all goes terribly wrong. You just right-click on the train and, like, remove train. I bet signallers wish they could do that in real life sometimes. Amy, what's going on with the brake gauge on the left? Brake gauges look normal, Amy. Which one do you mean? They all look pretty normal to me. Rightio, shall we have another go? Shall we see if we can get a definitive answer on this locomotive?
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
What are you reckoning? Here we go. Pig and Bob, I'm sure you've got it wired. You are the third one on my screen, my friend. With number 7 this time.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Gonna give you a box number 7. 10 seconds for the Locomotive Livery Location if you can. 2 yellows on the signal there. What is that? Where is that? Let me know any thoughts. Ah, Amy, yeah, I see what you're saying. It's the needles are crossed over. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Trade sim world fault. Stepped up to 2 yellows. We were just a little bit quick there. And we go under Star Bridge. So the quarry lines now pass overhead, over top of us. And the quarry line's on the left-hand side there. In reality, the earthworks in this location means you can't see the... Well, you can sort of see the quarry lines, but they're sort of not as easily viewable as they are here in the sim. Sam, I'm really sorry that you feel like that, my friend. I would absolutely phone someone up or speak to someone. If there's anybody in the chat that has any words of wisdom for Sam or can help Sam or knows Sam, any help you can offer would be really appreciated. Matt, looks like a GBR of class 92 at Edinburgh. Oh, we're still at Edinburgh on the location there. Right, 2 yellows on the last one, coming around to Coulston South. And we can turn our wiper off there as well. And we've got a green. Excellent stuff. Coming up towards Stoats Nest Junction. Sussex Rail Enthusiast has gone GBRF class 60 at Carlisle. Matt has gone, it's definitely a 92, just not sure where else. Interesting, we got some debate about the location there. A couple of people saying Carlisle. I think Sussex Rail Enthusiast has gone with Carlisle. A few people saying Edinburgh as well. Right, green position 1, 70 mile an hour crossover here at Stoats Nest Junction. Train boy, the phone in the cab is the radio system that we use to communicate with the signaller. It's you can't make personal calls on it or anything like that. It's it's for internal railway communications only, strictly for operational purposes. Sam, you've got absolutely nothing to feel sorry for, my friend. Astro Pengo has posted the number for Samaritans there, and I would honestly urge you just to give them a call and talk through the way you feel. It's completely free, it's untraced, you know, and it's just good to have somebody to talk to. Right, Right, line speed's going to drop to 60 once we get up to South Croydon. We are not far off Clapham. We've got East Croydon station. To be fair, we've got quite a few stations, but in terms of route mileage, we're not that far. Sassie's Rally Enthusiast said could also be Preston or Crewe. Matt says I thought so, but the tiling of the wall next to it. It is very Edinburgh Waverley. Coming through Pearly Oaks, she's coasting lovely. We are on a slight downhill gradient here. Warning for the 60. And we're going to get some brakes in for that now. The train in front there, I suspect that's the one that the Reigate service, the one we were waiting for at Red Hill. Might not be, but I suspect it probably is. We've got the brakes in for the 60. The line speed is going to drop to 45 a little bit further up, so I'm just going to keep that brake in. And we do have a green approach to South Croydon. So the 60 starts at the platform here at South Croydon. But like I say, it's going to drop to 45 a little bit further up. And if we get routed through platform 1, we're going to have to get the speed down to 30 pretty quickly. Oh, face full of tree. Ouch. There's the 60. 387 coming the other way. Random AWS magnet there, no signal. Weird. And there's our green. 45 is going to start just by the next signal gantry. If we have a position 1 route indicator though, we do need to get the speed down to 30. Double yellow just stepped up to a green, that's lovely. Looks like we're going through platform number 2. Yeah, we've got no route indicator, so straight through platform number 2. That means we're going to be 45 all the way through. Train boy, you all sorts of weather. There's no kind of... You do 225 hours and basically doesn't matter whether it's raining, snowing or sunny, you kind of... Off you go and do it. Well done, Sam. That's a good move, my friend, and good luck to you. 45 through East Croydon. There we go. Green signal. And we need a position 1 junction indicator on the next signal. If we don't get a position 1 junction indicator, we have been wrong routed and we are going to London Bridge. Although we could run via Crystal Palace and Streatham Hill. There we go, position 1 junction indicator. Still good for 45. Line speed's going to go up to 60 just around the corner. And there's our 60 board, so once the back of the train clears that, we are all good. Just coming over Windmill Bridge Junction. Windmill Bridge Junction was just a little bit further back. Lines off to our right, Norwood Junction up to London Bridge. Lines that we are now going over the top of. Norwood Junction to the right, West Croydon and Sutton to the left. Train going down the hill there is going round to West Croydon. We are good for 60. Line speed's going up to 70 once we get round the corner. Yeah, Train Boy, the station we just gone through, East Croydon, is the one that's on the introduction. And there's our 40 over 70. We are running as class 1, so we can follow the higher speeds, 71 an hour speeds. And as we come through Selhurst, the line is going to start dropping away quite steeply. So I'll get it up to 60 and let the train take the strain. Amy, London Bridge would be a pretty awesome addition. Could you imagine having like Thameslink Core on here? So you can actually do something with that 700. I would quite like to see maybe like a... it's a route I hate in real life, but like the Sutton Loop, and then Sutton to St Albans or something like that. So we get the Thameslink core, you got something to run. The 700 is a gorgeous training game. It'd be great if we had a decent route to run it on. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with South Eastern High Speed, but having like Thameslink core with ETCS through the core, maybe ATO as well, that would be pretty cool. That would definitely be pretty cool. Right, we've probably got about 10 minutes left at most, guys, 10 to 15 minutes. So I think we've got time for maybe 1 or 2 more rounds. Let's get some consensus on this. Let's press the button.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
Let's get those numbers in for Locomotive Livery Location. What is it? Where is it? And we're chugging along quite nicely, coming up towards Norbury. If you are still here, you must be enjoying it, so don't forget to hit that like button. Consider subscribing, that would be absolutely awesome. Pig and Bobby, you've missed out this time. Third one, it is Matt with number 11.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Okay, here we go. I think that's a good shout, Matt. We're going to give you box number 11. 10 seconds for that Locomotive Livery Location, if you can. Just passing through Norbury on the stream. Steve Sutherland, I've wondered for a while, why does the higher speed limit come into effect when the back of the train passes it and not the front? Because, Steve, trains are different lengths, so if you wanted the speed limit to apply when the front of the train went past it, where would you put the speed board? Would you put it 4 carriages past the point work or past the curve, or would you put it, 20 carriages to account for a long freight train? That's why it's the back of the train. Matt, yep, it's a 92. Sussex Rail enthusiast, 92 for sure. Matt, definitely at Edinburgh Waverley. Point A Rail, yep, GBRF, 92 GBRF, likely Edinburgh. Just passing through Streatham Common, coming towards Streatham's North Junction. Had to think about that one. Bouncy, bouncy as we come through there. Lovely, love the suspension physics. Train boy, I picked East Croydon because it has a lot of traffic going through it. So there was a lot of trains in that 10-minute introduction section. There's a lot of trains that come through. Okay, we are going to want to get checked down because if we are going through platform 16 at Clapham Junction, we need to cross over at the London end of Balham Station onto the slow lines. Can't get to platform 16 from the fast line, so it is going to have to check us down and cross us over in a minute. Oh, do you know what? I saw that view then and thought the train had disappeared. I thought the coaches had all gone. Right, I am expecting the signals to start checking me down, so I am going to get a little bit of brake in. It's also good to have a running brake test. Or we should be having a running brake test every 3 to 5 minutes in these conditions to stop snow and ice building up in the brake rigging. There we go. We knew it was going to happen. Let's get a big fistful of brake in there. We should get 1 yellow on this one coming up. There we go. And we are going to want a junction indicator position 4 on the one at the end of the platform. These signals are pretty close together here as well, so that's why I wanted to get a big chunk of brake in quite early on. Go red ahead, red ahead, red ahead. Oh, excellent signalling. 1 yellow, position 4, junction indicator. 25 through these points. Volvo, the brakes are set for pass timings. pass timings and goods timings don't exclusively mean passenger and goods. I mean, that's what it is, but like you use pass timings for a lot of goods wagons as well, a lot of freight wagons. It's not exclusive. It's a whole kind of rulebook thing about brake timings, distributed timings. Historically, I think it was like, you know, goods wagons, passenger wagons. It's all to do with basically how quickly the brakes apply and release. But a lot of the time now, a lot of wagons now, the brakes are permanently in pass. That's stepped up to a green, lovely, jubbly. Okay, we're just going to be through Wandsworth Common. And then we are into Clapham Junction, where part 1 of this Railtour stream will finish. So, let's have one more round.
Post your numbers now for Locomotive Livery Location.
Let's have one more round of Locomotive Livery Location. Let's try and do this. Oh, passenger is the left light. I couldn't see it. Oh, yeah, no worries. Sussex Rail Enthusiast. When trains brush against trees, they must feel like they're branching out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right, okay. What do we got on the numbers? Jake, you're the third one on my screen, my friend, with number 17.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
Gonna give you number 17 then. 10 seconds for the Locomotive Livery and Location, if you can. Right, 2 yellows. What is that? Where is that? Dadrow living up to his name with a joke. Amy, that was not my joke. That was Sussex Rail Enthusiast's joke. I'm not taking any credit for that. Yeah, absolutely, Sam. If you need to speak to anyone, then, you know, social media channels are there. You know, do please speak to somebody if you need to. Samaritans, the number's been posted. Yeah, wishing you all the best, Sam. 1 yellow, red ahead. We will want a position 4 junction indicator on the next signal to take us through platform 16 to take us onto the down West London line. John Ward, I expect they would. It doesn't get any better, does it? It really doesn't get any better. Right, we are red ahead. Let's pay attention to the signals. Last signal, we don't want to spad. I'll say last signal. Penultimate signal. Oh, they're all coming out. They're all coming out. Sussex Rail Enthusiast. Water is so expensive these days. Even reindeer. Oh, I don't know if it deserves one of those. I really don't know if it deserves one of those. Sussex Rail Enthusiast, you will receive the ultimate punishment for your jokes.
If you see something that doesn't look right, report it to a member of staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. See it, say it, sorted.
Sorry, you're all misbehaving with these jokes now. I mean, oh, I should do a Dadrow April Fool's stream or something. Oh, that's. Oh, look, typical. As soon as you stop, the signal comes off. Signalers, they're all the same. Right, we've got 1 yellow. Red's at the end of the platform at Clapham Junction. It's just off the end of the platform. Position 4 takes us onto the down West London line. Oh, Ellie's joined in now. Look, it's okay, Richard. I heard that exit signals are on the way out. No! say. I mean, do you know what? I was having a conversation with my son Joshua the other day. He's doing his GCSEs. He was telling me, he's saying he's going to go to college and he's going to do A-levels, and he's thinking about doing an A-level in history. I said, you don't want to do that. Why do you want to study history? There's no future in it. That's what I said. Rightio, creeping round the corner. A bit of a surprise one, Owen, I'm afraid. "10-ton polar bear when it breaks the ice." Astro penguin, bad jokes about rain, water surprise. Oh, I'm pleased we're at Clapham Junction and this stream is coming to an end. Now this is why, obviously we've got the North London line coming out for... I suppose we could do this bit on Train Sim Classic if we wanted to. We've got the North London line coming out, which is going to terminate, I believe, at Willesden Junction. We need the bit to Clapham, and potentially Richmond as well, because that would just plug this gap. We would be able to drive all the way through. That would be really superb. Stop! That'll do. We're at Clapham Junction. With all these jokes, I feel like this stream has run its course. Well, that's... Nobody saw that. I put too many coaches on this, haven't I? Definitely have. There we go, guys. Right, let's do this.
Let's play Locomotive Livery Location.
So I'm interested to know, we've had a few people say it's a 60, a few people say it's a 92. So when this picture was shown to me, I was like, oh, it's a class 60 at X location. And then I was told to look a bit closer at the bottom line. So I was told to look a bit closer at 31, 32 and 33. And why 31 and 32 didn't disappear, I don't know. There we go. All the sound effects are going on. And what we've got there is a height limiting bar for a shoe gear. So that tells me it has to be 92. But where is that location? Can reveal it's a 92, but where is that location? Is that location Edinburgh Waverley? What are you thinking?
It's time to reveal today's Locomotive Livery Location.
That location is not Edinburgh Waverley. That location is Carlisle. Although, I'm not sure if it is Carlisle. I think it might be Edinburgh Waverley. This might have to be a steward's inquiry. I am going to have to get in contact with Northern Princess Productions and double check where this picture was taken, because I'm not convinced that's Carlisle now. I think that might be Edinburgh Waverley. But it's definitely a class 92. But there we go. What can I say? What can I say? What can I say? Thank you to everybody who's taken part in the stream tonight. It's been a really enjoyable one. It's nice to get in the 66 and do something a little bit different with it. Like I say, it would be fantastic if the the North London line / West London line mild May line was coming down to Clapham Junction. That would be superb, because we would literally be able to complete this run all the way through then onto the West Coast Mainline. But it is what it is. That's what we've got, and any new route is good. I think we're always going to say, oh, it'd be good if it was this, it'd be good if it was that. So yeah, it'd be really nice just to plug that little gap of route knowledge there. So what's going to happen with this train now? This train is going to go up to Acton Lane Reception Sidings, where a class 87 is going to be added on the front for the remainder of the journey up to Milton Keynes. But that will not be in today's stream. That will be in the next stream, which will probably be Wednesday or Thursday next week. I'm away for a couple of days on a training course with work for the beginning of next week, so it will be probably towards the end of next week. But there we go, guys. If you have enjoyed yourself, please do hit the like button, consider subscribing. That would be absolutely awesome. If you want to follow me on my social media channels, you can do. I'll pop those on the screen for you right now. Steward's Inquiry, Sussex Rail Enthusiast. I'm going to double check with Northern Princess Productions. It could be that I've got the information wrong. Yeah, social media channels on the screen for you right now. That is absolutely brilliant. I'm going to press the button there. That may or may not start music. It's supposed to start music, but I think it's broken. Thank you very, very much for watching, everybody. It's been good. Hope to see you again in another stream or video very soon.